thing I'm using here is the MAC Prep and Prime in the yellow shade, I think it's called. So I'm applying that all over my face. The good thing about this is that it creates a very sticky base for whatever foundation you put on top. Now I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade 345, and I'm mixing it with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the yellow corrector because the 345 is too dark for me. But I'm not mixing it to the point where it would match me perfectly. I'm actually keeping it a bit darker than my skin tone, and you will see as the video goes along that when I'm doing makeup for the night and I know that I'm going to be using flash. So what using a darker foundation does is that when the flash hits your face and it bounces back, it usually always bounces back lighter than what the foundation actually is. So when it bounces back, it will look like the foundation matches me, even though in reality it's a bit darker. So I'll just make sure to blend that down my neck so everything looks uniformed. Blend it on my ears as well so everything flashes back the same. And now I'm going to use one of my favorite concealers, which is the L'Oreal True Match Concealer in the shade W6, 7, and 8. And I'm putting that all the places that I like to highlight. This concealer is excellent, and the shade is a really good shade for me. It's just the right amount of yellow that I like. And I'm wetting my very worn out beauty blender with the Mario Badescu facial spray, the aloe and herb facial spray, and I'm gonna blend that bad boy in. And guys, please let me know if you think that the lighting is acceptable, because my main source of light right now is a ring light from a mirror, so I have to get better lighting. But let me know if this works. And then you see I'll go back in with the foundation brush just to blend everything in. Now I'm going to use what I have left of the Sacha Buttercup powder, which is a yellow toned loose powder, and I'm going to put some of that under my eye. I'm not going to bake too much. I'm gonna put a good bit of product, but I'm not really aiming to bake, because when you put too much powders like to flash back. You don't want to put too much of anything, okay? So I'm not baking, I'm just setting, and I'm putting enough powder to get some of that yellow just to show up on my skin. But you don't want to bake unless you're going to use a setting spray after, but still kind of refrain from baking generally. So I'm putting that was JP I was talking to. He's playing League of Legends, always complaining about his teammates. Now I'm applying it all over my face, just a light coating all over my face to set my foundation. And you want to kind of stay away from translucent powder any night, especially if you're a woman of color. Use something that is tinted like the Buttercup. The Buttercup also comes in other shades that are tinted, different shades of brown. So try to refrain from silica powders, rice powders, and translucent powders. Now I'm using the City Color Cosmetics Contour Trio, the contour palette, and I'm taking that bronzy shade and putting it on the perimeter of my forehead, and I'm blending that over the center of my forehead as well, just to make sure everything blends properly. and then I'm taking the darker shade with this imitation NARS Ita brush that I got off of eBay, and I'm putting that in my cheekbones and on my jawline, just so that when I take pictures, it creates some definition on my face. And I'm going in with some more of the bronzy shade and blending my life away. I look like I'm blending really hard. I probably was, but that's to let you know how intense it is. Blending is not a joke. And I'm using this blush brush that I got off of eBay as well. It's a Jessup brush. Now, usually I prefer to use orange toned eyeshadows, but I wanted to use something dark and berry because in the night you generally want to go a little darker with everything, just so it doesn't flash back as much, the light doesn't catch it as much. So I'm using the e.l.f. blush quad. This is the dark blush quad. Now to highlight, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Peach Nectar Illuminator and the Sacha Cosmetics blush in Radiant Glow. And when I mix those two together, I kind of get what I think is what champagne pop looks like. So I'm putting that on the tops of my cheekbones and whatever excess I have, and I put a little bit on my cupid's bow, a little bit on my chin, just because I prefer to be dewy, and I put the rest underneath my eyes, just because I don't like when directly under my eyes look dry and then my cheek is shiny. And then to finish off the face, very important, as you can see that I said there, especially when taking flash photography, just to help settle all the powders on your face, make it look a little more realistic and help it to last all night. Finally, let's get into the eyes. And for my brows, I'm using the e.l.f. Is it the e.l.f. brow brush? It's a double-ended brush, and the NYX Cake Brow Powder in the black gray shade. And I'm using a little bit of the wax. Not too much because this wax is not the best. It's pretty shiny. So I'm using that to fill in my brows, first outlining it and then taking the excess product and blending it in, going back into the product when I think I need some more, and then using the spoolie to help blend everything together, help it not look so harsh. And again, going a little bit darker with the brows as well because it's night, although this is the product I use all the time because I just generally like black. Not black, I like dark eyebrows. Now I'm gonna go back in with that L'Oreal True Match concealer to clean up under my brows. Like, y'all, if you are having problems with your brows, concealer is what you're missing. Like, even if you mess it up, you can fix it with some concealer. So I'm just blending the concealer out, and I'm taking a little bit of product and bringing it to the front of my brow, and then blending the rest of concealer on my eyes as an eyeshadow base. So now I'm taking this Carla Cosmetics blending eyeshadow brush and the Morphe 35W palette, and I'm taking this sort of peachy light shade to the top of the palette and patting that under my brow bone as my brow bone highlight. And I'm also blending that a little bit in my crease as well, just to help with blending there when we go in with the next shade, which is the orangey toned brown in the same Morphe 35W palette, and I'm blending that liberally into my crease. Now I'm taking the e.l.f. eyeliner. I believe this is a turquoise shade, and a flat concealer brush that I got from eBay as well, and I'm going to put that all over my lid to use as a base. And I'm using a blue base because I'm going to use the next product I'm going to use has blue glitter in it, and I want to kind of make the blue shade stand out, so I'm using a blue base, getting that nice and even all over my lids. And then with the same brush on the other side, I'm using Colourpop's Super Shock Shadow in the shade Rex, which is a black filled with navy blue glitter. And as I said, I'm using the blue base just because I want it to look more blue than black. And at this point, I was thinking that I was going to do a halo eye. That is why I left the space in the middle. But in the end, you'll see I didn't bother, because I don't think in the night anybody would see that we took all this effort to blend a halo eye. Yeah, I'm just covering it. Just covering my whole lid with the shadow. Making sure it's really nice and pigmented. And now I use that fan brush here to dust off any fallout. It doesn't really have a lot of fallout, but it had some fallout, and that's why you'll see me now. I went in with one of those shadow protectors from e.l.f. which I always forget that I have. So I'm going back in with this Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette in that same blue shade, and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line, on the outer corner of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the lighter blue and I'm going to dust that on the inner corner of my lower lash line. I don't know why that clip disappeared. So I'm going back in with the brush that I used for the brown shade earlier, just to help blend out the crease as well. And if you want, you could stop here, but then I decided it needed something else, and I went in with that lighter blue and put that in the crease, just so that, you know, it wasn't just one shade of blue. I wanted some dimension. so that's why you see me going in the crease and over the dark blue with the lighter blue. So this is where we're at so far. So I'm going back in with the shade that I used underneath my brow bone, and I'm just going to go over the colors that I have in the crease with that color, just so that everything blends together, which is something that I always do. I always kind of go over the colors in the crease with the brow bone shadow, and then I'll go back in with the crease colors just to make sure everything is well blended together. Now I'm taking the Urban Decay Electric palette, and I'm taking the silver shadow, and I'm going to put that on my inner corner as my inner corner highlight, again to bring dimension, so when that flash hits you, you can see all of the shimmery goodness that you took the time and effort to put on your face. And I use the Real Techniques detailer brush to do that. So I went and got glammed up. I applied the Velux by INV lashes in the style Blair, and I put on this wave just to look a little fancy for you guys. So now I'm lining my lips with Colourpop's lippy pencil in the shade Pitch, which is a dark brown. Then I'm going in with the Sasha Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Give It To Me, which is a browny nude color, and I'm going right over that lippy pencil and blending them together. Fixing the people weave, and then I'm gonna go over that with this Palladio gloss. It's just a kind of nude gloss, a kind of brownie gloss from the brand Palladio. Going over all of that, and the gloss really just helps to make everything blend together better. So you could leave the eyeshadow just like that, but then if you think that you want to go a little extra glam, I applied a little bit of lash glue all over my lids, just a little bit, and I'm gonna pack this glitter from Ambrosia Cosmetics. It's just a dark blue glitter, and I'm using my shadow shield from ELF, and I'm packing that glitter all over my lid. And honestly, if you know you're the type of person to go out any night and club and get drunk and come home tired, you really don't want to put glitter on your eyes and then you can't wash it off. You don't want to sleep with glitter on. But if you're a responsible glitter wearer and you really want to look glam in that club, this is another option for you guys to try. And I'm dusting off any excess glitter with my fan brush, and this is what we have. A nice deep smoky eye, and it's also, the foundation is also very flash friendly.